Good morning. Okay, I'm definitely going to go see Imo today. So, Elon Musk came to the United States from South Africa, and he started out as being educated, but then he decided to self educate. When he came, he knew that he wanted to be one of the most successful people alive. He started PayPal, sold it for 180 or 190 million, 170 million. He put 70 million into SpaceX and 100 million into Tesla. And a couple of years later, they both looked like they were going to be gone. Tesla was out of money and on the verge of bankruptcy, and he had to pitch a whole bunch of investors to put in more money into the company in order to keep it going, even though it hadn't produced a product yet and hadn't got off the ground yet. They agreed. And SpaceX, which, by the way, he has no formal training in how to build a rocket or anything regarding astrophysics. He self-educated himself with regards to all of that, had two rockets that had blew up, and they were on their last chance. When he sold PayPal, he didn't pocket any of the money. He didn't buy a house. He didn't buy a car. He didn't buy anything. He borrowed money for rent. He rented a small place and borrowed money. The rocket did land. The investors did invest. And even when Tesla started to go down again a couple of years ago, he said that the company was way undervalued. And he's now worth $190 billion. He looks at his next 10 years and says, what is it that I want to do in the next 10 years? And then the question he asks himself is, how can I do that in the next 6 months? When he looks at his day, he breaks it down into 5-minute intervals. That way he says that he increases his productivity, so he doesn't waste any time. Now, I'm not saying that should be everybody's approach, but we talked yesterday about how questions decide what we focus on. His question was, how can I be one of the most successful people in the history of the United States, and as a byproduct, one of the wealthiest people in the world? But he's not about the money. He's about, making a dent in the universe, having the impact. So when he sold a company for almost $200 million, he shrugged his shoulders and went, well, anybody can do that. We need to go do something more significant, and put all of his chips back onto the table. When he looks at how much he's going to produce in his life, he then compresses that and says, how could I do that in 6 months? And that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to actually accomplish that in 6 months, but that's the question that he asks himself. Questions decide our focus. And, that's an extreme example, but he's created extreme results with that extreme example. So as we move forward this week, weather's getting warmer. They were talking about second quarter, end of second quarter, third quarter is when we were going to be out. It's looking more and more like it's going to be like April is when we're going to be out. There's so much intensity in the world right now in terms of what's going to happen. There's so much money that the stock market has gone completely insane, way too much liquidity, but all that money's got to go somewhere. For every $5 bill you have in your pocket, one of those dollars was dumped into the market last March. That's how much money the Fed dumped into the stock market last March in order to keep liquidity and boost the economy so that we didn't collapse into a Great Depression. Which, okay, great. But now all that money's got to go somewhere. I mean, baseball cards are crazy. Bitcoin obviously has done its thing. Gold and silver hasn't yet. Will it? Who knows? But all that money is also incredible opportunity because it's got to go somewhere. So why can't it go to you? Why can't it go to me? Why can't it go to us? So let's start thinking differently about how quickly we can generate results and how productive our day can truly be. Let's take some cues from the people who are able to accomplish amazing things in short periods of time, and let's set some goals along those lines. Let's start thinking in those terms. Let's start thinking in 5-minute intervals. Let's start thinking in, all right, that's what I want to do in 10 years. Let's compress that into 6 months. The people that are significantly successful, it's not by accident. They start out with that intent. And whatever it is you want to do, if you want to be significantly successful as a parent, if you want to be significantly successful as a spouse, that's got to be your intention. If your intention is I'm going to be okay, then you're going to be okay. If your intention is I'm going to be the best ever, then you got a chance at being the best ever. Then you can ask yourself the why, then you can ask yourself the how. So let's start thinking differently about productivity. Let's start thinking differently about how long it's going to take to generate results. All this money sloshing around is going to go somewhere. We already have had a huge number of millionaires generated. If you haven't heard about this thing called a SPAC, Google SPAC and see what's going on in the stock market with that. I'm not telling you to invest in one, but I'm just saying there's opportunity all over the place. That money's got to find a home. It can find your home. Have a great day, everybody, as we start thinking differently in terms of how to do all of these things. I'm going to say good morning to everybody. I haven't said good morning in a long time. My Uncle Bill, great to see you. Valerie, good morning. Wonderful to see you. Mr. Drehobel, down in Florida. You guys have had, what a lovely place that place has been this winter. Nice to see you. Dolores, good morning. And Rebecca, good morning to you too. Have a great day, everybody. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.